Brought to you by Hulu. Time to have great original shows and movies. Time to have Hulu.
What's up, party people? Welcome to Honest Trailer Commentaries, the show where we talk about the video we made about the movie that someone worked hard to make and destroy it. I'm Cobra Commander, filling in for Spencer J. Gilbert. Joining me, as always, Danielle Radford and Lon Harris. It's good to see you guys again.
Thanks for being here, Cobra Commander. It's great to have you.
Yeah, I didn't know we were going to have a celebrity guest.
Friend of the show, Cobra Commander.
You know, I was in the neighborhood.
The
And
neighborhood
once you get, well, I'm in the valley.
yeah,
And once you get into the valley, you know, it's like, I might as well spend the day.
you were in the neighborhood of the room Joe Starr uses to Zoom, and you were like,
That's
I might
right.
as well jump on there.
That's right. I'm over here with my bud.
Not a lot of people know you and Joe Starr grew up together. You're tight.
Really close, yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna crack open some brewskis later.
This
But
is
that's
not
later.
this is a reboot, so this is not Joseph Gordon-Levitt under the hood, folks. Totally
Oh, no.
different. Cope. Not a
No.
guy who was in an explosion and none of that. None of that.
Look, I'm gonna level with you. I'm not sure if I was gonna do this bit as I'm just gonna talk about the movie, or I'm gonna pretend that G.I. Joe and Cobra are real fandom style, IRL, baby.
Yeah, that's right.
And like react to it as like a propaganda piece. I don't know yet. Maybe a little bit of both. Folks, we're here to talk about G.I. Joe origin. Well, no, sorry, Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe origins.
From the
A
Book
movie
of
that
Saw.
was made from the Book of Saw.
based
It's
on
a film that was made
based on Push by Sapphire.
based on Push by the Baroness. So, first of all, I think it's very telling that none of us really seem to remember the film, albeit having just watched it. So, general thoughts and feelings to kick us off, and then we'll jump into watching.
Lon, you want to go first?
Yeah, I don't what? Huh? Like, because it's I look, I get the okay, we're gonna do shared universe. You start with some of the characters and give us their corner of the world, and then we go bigger. I get that. I get why you would
Right.
do that.
Of
But
course.
it seems weird. Like, I think of G.I. Joe, it's like sci-fi, it's like military, it's like kind of futuristic, it's like weapons and you know, trucks and guns and all that. And so to start in this world that is not just like ninja stuff, but like in a fantasy world, like no sci-fi at all. It's like rocks from the gods that give you powers, and it's like a totally different franchise. I don't get how this is gearing us up for G.I. Joe at all. It seems not even remotely related to G.I. Joe.
Yeah, and like the fight scenes, especially like the fight scene in the beginning was dope. And I got to a point where I was like, this is a little long, like this fight scene. Like by the time we have swords that can penetrate a truck, I was like, this is getting a little too long. And then I started to realize like, oh, that might be like, we're not going to get much more of this. Like I thought there would be more of them.
No, the
I
truck
was
scene is
expecting
really
to be more
weird
movies.
because there's two guys sitting in a truck and they have swords that can easily, like through butter, go through a truck. And yet they seem incapable of stabbing the two. Like if there was a guy sitting in a truck right next to you, just stab him. Like there's
It's the refraction of
it's
their
like
reflection.
I don't
Yeah.
they seem to have a lot of trouble figuring out where their sword is going to go once it goes inside the truck. And it's like, this is just physics. Like just
Jimmying it on in there.
they're 2 feet away. You're
It's like
ninjas,
yeah,
right?
they managed to do the like blaster that doesn't hit, but they managed to do it with swords.
Yeah, it would be
which is,
like if
amazing.
stormtroopers couldn't kill
Yeah.
you if they were right next to you with a sword. Like, well, now, come on,
Now,
guys.
come on, guys.
Yeah, earn your
Stormtroopers.
pay.
No match for my Vipers. I agree. I thought the movie was very just like strange. You know, I come from sorry, I'm gonna let's blur the lines of the bit.
Like,
I
okay,
grew
yeah.
up with the comics, with like the Larry Hama G.I. Joe comics,
Sure.
and those comics loved them some ninja stuff. But like then you get into like the movie got into like glowing rocks and like it was
Right.
weird. But then they were also trying to do like a classic like Japanese Yakuza versus the police, like The Departed type. And it was
Yeah.
just
It's a lot of
bad.
different weird levels. Right, because I remember the cartoons, and there was a lot of ninja stuff there, but they still had like gadgets. It still felt like ninja stuff in a G.I. Joe world. And this feels like ninja stuff in a weird ninja stuff world that has nothing to do with G.I. Joes, except then Scarlet shows up and they're like, she's with the G.I. Joes. Don't worry about it.
It's on the poster. We had
Like,
we
yeah,
had
it's like-
Yeah.
Well, I think, and just as like we'll get into it as we watch the trailer and comment, but yeah, especially as a franchise restarter. I'm the franchise starter. That's my favorite Prodigy song. Cobra Commander loves the Prodigy. It just felt like a weird nothing film to kick off a big franchise to compete with the Avengers.
It's also, we touched on it a bit, like considering it is a ninja film about ninjas, not a lot of, and there are some people in it who have been in great martial arts films. Yes. Not a lot of great martial arts action in this film. It kind of cuts away a lot, and you kind of don't get a lot of like just fight scenes, which is,
as the great Jeff Goldblum once said, there will be ninja fights in your ninja fighting movie, right? But there wasn't. Let's roll. Let's roll the honest trailer for Snake Eyes: G.I. Joe Origins. Uh-oh, I can't hear it. Someone tell the Televipers.
You know Snake Eyes as a voiceless masked ninja. Now, get ready to see a whole new side of him. Voiced.
I didn't sign up for this.
Faced. And very bad at ninja stuff.
What are you doing here?
Like really bad.
But did you know he was also a dick? Stop sucker punching women in the face, Snake Eyes. I'm trying to like you. Stop. Fast and Furious presents G.I. Joe Begins, Snake Eyes Origins from the Book of Saw. Don't care about the G.I. Joe
right
movie?
out the gate. Let's pause. I mean, look, if all a character has going for it is the mystique that when we grew up with it, he was a mysterious badass that was dope at everything. If your first question approaching this project is, what if he wasn't any of those things? That's a bad question to ask.
It's the weirdest thing. Look, you're gonna cast a celebrity. We're gonna see his face. He's gonna say a few lines. Fine. Okay. I get why you feel like you need to do that with your main character, I guess. Although there have been cool movies that don't do that, but okay, fair enough, I guess. But the making him not a very good ninja and then not even integrating like ninja training or going to ninja school into the movie, like all of his, we talk about this in the trailer, all of his training is like purely mental. It's like overcome your fear, like stop lying to all of us about who you are. But it's never just like, here's how you do this roundhouse kick, which is like a really important part of being a ninja.
Oh my God. It reminds me of a combination of both Mortal Kombats, where we get the guy who like is kind of a sucky fighter, and then he winds up being like the one in the new Mortal Kombat, spoilers. And then you get the version where it's like, face your fear, use the element which brings life, like all of this like weird esoteric stuff.
And like, look, I get that you got to do that mystical, spiritual side of it that helps the drama, whatever. But you also have to do the part where they just like do the punches, like blue belt stuff, because otherwise it's just not believable. Like nobody ever, like I don't think there's one ninja lesson in this whole movie that is set at a ninja school.
But it's important to note that a man named Snake Eyes has to look a snake in the eye.
In the eyes. Hey, let's just get into that now. There's a lot of snake imagery on the good guy side of things for a franchise where the bad guy's a snake themed.
It's also
I don't think I ever thought about that growing up, that his name is Snake Eyes and he's fighting Cobra. You should be on my side.
They even give you an explanation.
The Joes can have Croc Master. I'll do a trade.
But it's the funny thing is, in this movie, it's not even because of snakes. It's the dice. So the snakes are just purely extraneous. Like none of the snake imagery. He's not a snake guy. He's a dice guy.
As soon as I saw the dice, I was immediately like, oh.
What if Andrew Dice Clay had been in the pit?
Yeah, the only way to pass the third challenge, you got to take out the dice man.
Oh, that's great. Hickory dickory dock.
Oh, yeah, that's the second challenge, is smoking a cigarette around your head.
Well,
he's already got the punching women, the misogyny covered. So
yeah, punching Jinx in the face. Was that Jinx? They never called her Jinx. I wasn't sure. She didn't earn her code name by the end of the movie, like Storm Shadow.
All right, like the shadow before a storm.
Let's
Get it?
continue so that Spencer doesn't get mad that I made this 2 hours long.
Don't care about the G.I. Joe movies? You're not alone. No one does. Not even the actors.
Detail attention.
But when the studio, who placed last at the box office for 7 years
My
straight, is
favorite
calling the shots,
lackadaisical line rating
audiences
ever.
will get a brand new thing to shrug at. Because after 2 prequels setting up a Big Joe versus Cobra showdown, Paramount is rolling the dice with another prequel. I swear this whole studio is dangling by a Tom Cruise fingertip. In a franchise
really are.
known for its huge cast of high-tech super soldiers, focus on one goon trying to bullshit his way through ninja school. But in the grand tradition of Solo, The Phantom Menace, and Wolverine Origins, learn how the character you love used to suck back in the day. He's a
Here we
liar.
go.
You worked. You earned his trust.
He's a thief.
I was hoping you wouldn't do that.
He's a traitor to the people who welcomed him as family.
We could have been brothers.
He's kinda slow. And if he ever does join the G.I. Joes, it's only because his dad used to work there.
Your father was one of us.
He was a Joe.
Knowing the right people is half the battle.
Pause.
Snake.
Look, I'm not one to be beholden to canon, okay? Like, if you change something, I'm not going to be a little crybaby about it, all right? I'm not going to go back to Cobra Island and be like, they ruined my childhood. But if you're going to change something, like, do it better. Like, the whole thing with Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes, and I don't, it's been a while since I was 11, so hang on, I
Right.
might get some of this wrong, but if I remember correctly, someone kills either the Hard Master or the Blind Master, one of the two, maybe the Blind Master. And Snake Eyes thinks Storm Shadow did it, and Storm Shadow thinks Snake Eyes did it.
I believe it's the Hard Master in the original movies because RZA is the living blind
That's right.
master.
Wu-Tang is for the children.
Right,
Wu-Tang is for
exactly.
the children.
So,
That's
G.I. Joe.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I believe it was they were fighting in the original movies,
Right.
Originally
That's
as
easy.
children in an extended
That's
series
so
of
easy.
sequences.
Just stop the movie where they've been in ninja school together for a long time. They're best pals, and then someone kills the blind master. Spoiler alert, it's Zartan. This-
Right, yes.
This
Not-
voice
not
is
either.
so hard to do. I feel like there's knives on my throat. Someone else talk for a minute.
Yeah. It's just like that's the weirdest thing about this whole decision to do this movie is that the previous G.I. Joe movies already did the Snake
They
Eyes
did.
Storm Shadow backstory. We've seen it now 3 times. And it's always variations on the same theme. They were best friends, brothers, and then something happened that drove them apart, but they're wrong about it. And they're bad lack of communication, which I guess if you're a ninja that doesn't speak is gonna happen. You're gonna have miscommunications with old friends that don't get resolved.
Everything was so surface. Like, I would have, I don't know, man. Like, make them know each other for a while so that when he finds out Storm Shadow's a spy in the Yakuza, he's like, oh, well, he's also my buddy.
Right.
Like it's like, oh, I'm lying to him. But you just lied to him like last week. You haven't been a double agent your whole life.
It's one of those plots,
like Zartan.
Cobra Commander. It's one of those plots that one line of dialogue could resolve the whole thing.
Yes.
Like all Henry Golding needs to do at a bunch of points in this movie is to go like, hey, I haven't been totally honest with you all. This guy, he was from Netflix's Giri Haji, great show, recommended it. He told me to come over here and try to steal your gem. I feel bad. I'm not going to do it, but he knows who killed my dad. Can we go get him and find out who did it? They'd all go, great. Yeah, sure. Thanks for telling us the truth.
I was watching this film with my spouse, Mrs. Cobra Commander. And she was like, man, if only he was also friends with an elite ring of ninja spies. That could maybe do a little research into who killed his dad.
That's what I mean. It's just like, just say your problem out there. They're all, the entire movie, they're all standing in a circle around him like, just tell us. Just tell us.
And then when he's going to come clean.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Danielle.
No, I'm just going to say, if you're going to give him a voice, then he should probably use it to move the plot forward, or else there's no point. Plus, we also get into this, but why are you making him speak in an American accent when his voice is so cool? Anyway.
Just let British people be British. They sound neat. I agree.
Yeah.
No, but like, and then the moment when he's finally going to use his voice to come clean, instead of saying all that stuff you guys said, he just says, I want to kill the guy that killed my dad. And everyone's like, and then Tommy, oh, for one thing, come on. Tommy. Yeah, somebody that lives in a dojo castle in the middle of Tokyo full of mystical snakes was like, I'm naming this kid Tommy.
This kid Tommy.
Okay, I love the Pinball Wizard musical. I'm naming him Tommy.
Tommy Ninja.
But then he's like, sorry about the snakes, guys, but I'm mad at the guy that killed my dad. And Tommy's like, like he reacts.
Yeah.
Like he came clean about being a spy, but he's just like,
you do also have to love the confidence of, all right, this third challenge, if you're not totally honest with us, you will die. We're going to throw you in this pit. Something's going to happen. And to just be like, I'm a really good liar. Like this is no problem for me. Like he's just 100% confidence that he can pull this off against an entire team of like ancient ninja.
Plus, if the whole movie is about this brotherhood / maybe this burdening love interest about this guy who really wants to make out with Henry Golden, because I mean, let's face it, look at him. Look at the man.
Yeah.
He should be the one that goes in the hole, not Jinx.
Yeah,
it should be him. And then Henry Golding has to be like, I'm a spy. And then he's like, oh my God, I jumped in the snakes. Anyway, resume.
What do you think they have to feed those snakes? They're huge.
So much
food. That's like what's the budget on keeping 3 massive anaconda?
If you don't politely ask for the bowl, you get fed to the snakes. Onward.
Follow Snake Eyes. A man is lost and wandering as his American accent.
You want to know why I've been a ghost for so long? My father was murdered when I was a kid.
He must infiltrate the secretive Arashikage Ninja Clan. So secretive, even they don't know what they actually do.
A little of this, a little of that.
They're led by Tommy, a man with every reason to distrust this complete stranger with no past. But when you have a face like Henry Golding, doors just seem to slide open to you. Even the doors to the lantern warehouse where you hide your magic ninja egg. Must resist his charming face. Dude is a dick. Before they can make things Arashikage official, Snake Eyes will have to pass 3 deadly ninja tests. Test 1. Ask nicely for a bowl.
Request that you accept my bowl in exchange for yours.
Test 2. Have a bad dream.
This is more than a test you pass or fail. It is a mirror to reveal your weakness.
And test 3. Do not fight a giant snake. I repeat, do not fight the snake if you want to pass.
They never harmed those who are pure of heart.
Which means you can graduate from this ninja academy without doing any martial arts. See, this is why you just can't find a good ninja these days. Place is a total McDojo. I heard they hand out orange belts just for signing up. Thrill at a cast of actors.
You're not gonna make them do kata? Like a little 2-step sparring at least? Come on.
We not only don't ever see them train an actual ninja, but we don't ever find out how they got all their money or what they do, or like I think we get 0 information on what the Arashikage are. Just you really, really want to join them, like for real. Like it's worth going into this pit with the snakes.
Yeah.
And then you join, and what do you do all day? Stand around? Carry lanterns?
You use that nifty computer that just shows you pictures of things that are happening in other scenes where you can also see where they're happening.
Yeah, it's just like, you got to give us one scene where we get a sense of like, what's the day-to-day? Like, what are they doing? Like, are they a criminal organization? Are they a nonprofit? Like, what are they? Are they opening this place for tours? Like, what is it?
Danielle, what do they do?
But they're just a clan. You can't just be a clan. That's not a thing.
I don't know. I like the idea that they're a nonprofit. They're just what they do is they make those bowls. And then they sell the bowls, and then that's why they have so many. Like the bowl ceremony is just them practicing for how, would you like to take this bowl? It is $19.99.
Yeah. Hardmaster just goes around to high schools around the country and gives little presentations and then sells the bowls. Yeah.
12% of proceeds go to charities. The rest goes to feeding the giant snakes.
The rest goes to, and replacing those lanterns. One of those lanterns burns out like every other day. There's some low-level ninja that's constantly replacing lanterns.
That guy's got a bad job, lantern guy.
And also the guy cleaning like the helmet room is also just like, oh my God.
Sucks.
Nothing
All
but
right.
helmets and suits of armor. Jeez.
Video onward.
Thrill at a cast of actors who are so badass, you could just show a wide shot of them fighting and it would be rad to watch. Featuring Andrew Koji, a man who crushed a role Bruce Lee wrote for himself. Iko
never gets to do
Uwais,
one of
an
those.
inhumanly fast physical talent. Kenji Tanigaki, the fight coordinator for some of Japan's best modern samurai films. And hand all these action figures over to the legendary martial arts director, Robert Schwenke? Who's Robert Schwenke? Let's see, a couple of Divergent movies, Red, R.I.P.D. Uh-oh. All right, well, in that case, abandon all hope, because no matter how good these people may be in other films, they'll get the nauseating shaky cam treatment usually reserved for Liam Neeson hopping a fence. Shaking the camera to make action more exciting is like shaking a book to make the words more exciting. You want shaky cam? Shake your head in front of the screen. So now that you definitely don't have to...
Look, if you want to make a big Hollywood ninja movie, I feel like step one is who's a really great action director? Like, am I crazy? Like,
honestly, yes, no, you're not crazy, Cobra Commander. Yes, obviously you should get like a great action director, but in some of these cases, it's almost like less would be more. Like there are some of these scenes where literally just set the camera up and let these stunt fight coordinators and choreographers and martial artists like do their thing. Like there are definitely some of these fights that would have just been better to just film them.
Yeah.
Like just don't even bother setting up, like just have a guy with a camera and like show us what happens. Because a lot of the time they're doing cool stuff. We just can't see what it is because we're constantly cutting to different perspectives. And
yeah, I mean, this, you know, just to use the stuff that we reference in here, by the way, watch Warrior on HBO Max. It's the best show. Joe and I agree. But like the night comes for us. There's fights in that are like 15 minutes long and there's like 6 cuts.
Right. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Come on. But, and also like, again, you got to assume that everyone's goal with all these IPs is beat Marvel. You got to do like respect to the director of R.I.P.D. But I don't know. Marvel's like, hey, who are all these cool, hot new directors? Let's give them a character to direct. Wouldn't you want to do the same thing?
Yeah, it's odd that the guy who did R.I.P.D. and like the later Divergence would even like land a property of this size. Like Hasbro, like this is what they've got. This is their big thing. Like
it feels like someone really depressed is calling the shots at Paramount. Like it probably won't work anyway.
Well, maybe it was
nothing
the last
really
guy.
matters.
Brian Robbins will come in and be more excited. Maybe that's starting today.
Just seems like a bummer. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Like you'd think they'd be stoked to do a big budget ninja movie, but instead they were like, man, what's the point? Marvel's gonna steamroll us.
Fine. Yeah. All the G.I. Joe movies, there's 3 of them now, and they've all kind of felt that way, where it's just like, you're not treating this like the property that it is, which is internationally recognizable and iconic, and like, they're always, it feels like they're afraid to do G.I. Joe, and like, no, just do classic G.I. Joe. Like it starts, G.I. Joe's already a thing. You've got a bunch of the guys, the girls there, their characters, they're ready to go. Cobra does some stuff. There's a mission. Like, why don't we just get a conventional G.I. Joe movie after 3 now doing weird setup stuff?
We've proven that people like bright, colorful stuff. So, like, why can't we just make it like that? We've proven that people will
remember, where you introduce a bunch of vehicles and new weapons, and all the classic characters are all there. You're not like setting it up that one day they'll show up. But like, I don't get it.
And I agree with both of you. I feel like of all of these like childhood IPs, like this one needs the least storytelling.
Yeah,
or like explaining.
This one seems easy.
Those guys are soldiers. Those guys are snake-themed soldiers. They don't like each other. That's kind of it.
Like, that's it. It was the same thing like X-Men. We used to, every time we would do a new Odyssey trailer, I would have this rant where it's like, why are they always like they just broke up or they're just about to form? We never just get like The X-Men, where it's like Professor X gets a call from the president. It's like, right away, Mr. President. Then they go in the X-Jet and they like fight some other mutants. Like it's a
real Wang tease. If you ask me.
That's all X-Men stories. Like, why don't just do that?
Yeah.
That's the part I want to see.
Yeah, that's the fun part. I don't care about them forming the X-Men. Like that, I assume that happened. If there's an X-Men.
Same with this. Just like give me a line of Cobras and a line of Joes shooting point blank range lasers that miss each other.
Right.
And then after 90 minutes, I yell retreat. Box office gold.
I understand. You don't need any backstory at all for like, these are the good guys. Those are the terrorists. And they're shooting each other.
That's it. Plus, video onward!
Now that you definitely don't have to brave an actual theater to see it, get ready to hang in the group chat while half watching the latest Hollywood prequel that cares as little as possible about G.I. Joes and Cobra as you legally can when G.I. Joe is on the poster.
Major O'Hara is with the Joes. What?
They're the good guys.
Oh well, I guess they can do better with Snake Eyes too. Ninjutsu Boogaloo. There's still so many G.I. Joe ninjas to pick from. Let's see, you got Dojo, Bonsai, Nunchuck. Okay, wait, maybe the bad guys were cooler? Let's see, there's Slice and, Dice. Yeah, let's just not do this, actually. Starring
Oz,
Snake,
couple of real C-listers.
Dice. This Snake Eyes, his arch nemesis would be Dice.
No, this is
yeah.
My God, you're right.
This is his chief rival. That's what we're obviously setting up in part 2.
Dice clearly needed to be in this movie.
But it's going to be a sentient pair of Dice. It's not going to be a guy named Dice. He's going to actually have to fight Dice.
Voiced by someone very famous.
Beyonce. I think Beyonce as the voice of the Dice.
Anyway, I've probably been waiting since the 5th grade to make a joke about Slice and Dice.
Was it everything you hoped it would be?
It felt pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Felt pretty good. All right, sorry. Let's keep onward.
Snake. Tommy Kickles, Ross O'Toole. Wanna know how I got my scar? Grandmaster, Hard Master Baiting. It was Miss Scarlet in the airport with the stick things. The aristocrats. My anacondas don't want none if you got pure heart, son. And
oh no, one police car
without honor and or clarity. If you want a real movie about ninjas fighting Cobra, watch Cobra vs. Ninja.
Right.
He will not accept your challenge.
He will. He can't refuse me when he receives the ninja challenge card.
Then you have got to defeat me first.
Yep.
Sure.
It's on YouTube. You're welcome.
So cool.
Man, I tell you guys what, little inside baseball. I read the script and I slapped Spencer. And I said, hey, man, we've been friends for a long time. I've never asked you for anything. I'm calling in the favor. We put a Cobra versus Ninja joke at the end of this friggin' thing, or I walk.
Kevin's commented he found a version called Cobra Against Ninja.
Ninja.
I've only ever heard of this film as Cobra versus Ninja.
Yeah, man. I could talk for several hours about the films of Godfrey Ho.
Of course.
Do some research and learn about the Ed Wood of Hong Kong cinema, if you will. A glorious filmmaker.
Ninja Terminator, I was talking about recently, where that one has a guy challenged to a ninja tournament by like a little toy robot that comes to his house. It explodes. That's another Godfrey Ho. Absolute classic.
That's what happens with the Amazon drones. That's what's next.
Oh no, just ninja challenge cards left and right. Delivered by Prime.
A lot of these movies, a lot of Godfrey Ho movies they're less about the fights themselves. They're more about the very elaborate challenges that ninjas are constantly issuing. There's like, it's like a John Wick underworld of ninjas constantly challenging other ninjas for ninja supremacy.
You know, look, you two, I love you guys and I miss you. And when I walked away to do the D&D Beyond job, it just felt like something was unfinished. And it was getting this joke into another. Now I feel like I can go do D&D Beyond with a pure heart, and the snakes won't eat me.
Now you're ready. Yeah, now you're ready to move on to the next.
I'm gonna do the call to action or whatever, and then we can do deleted scenes. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Unless you're Serpentor, then what are you doing? You've got an organization to run. Subscribe to our channels for videos every day. Hit that like and hit that bell. Yeah. For more pithy comments such as Ninja Rocks, in my day, we just used weather dominators. That's a machine that dominates the weather.
Yeah, doesn't control it, just dominates it.
Dominates it.
Yeah, just makes it feel low.
We got
talk about sub-zero temperatures, am I right?
Hey, finish him. Let's watch these deleted scenes and we'll get some audience questions. And if you got more questions, tell Ryan about them in chat. You're my sub-hero, Danielle.
Dice to See You, Double Agent Dragon, Beverly Hills Ninja, Andrew Dice Slay, Stormy Clanuels. Watch Warrior now on HBO Max.
Tommy, the White Ranger.
Pa Kenta.
Oh, that was good.
Blade Virginity. Open up a clan, a whoop ass. Now you beat me. Is anyone gonna tell him his kimono doesn't match the others? No? Tosin, white guy. Hard out here for a master.
He said hard.
I said master. Raid, detention.
He's really good at that.
Samara leaving. Needs to meet you, Agent Smith. MIA, Joe. The Fast and the Furious, Tokyo Whiffed. Dice Hard. So you have 3 giant anacondas in your control, but you don't use them to protect your most sacred item. Instead, you put it in a shed that requires your own blood to enter. You're just asking for you and your family to get murdered. You guys are terrible at this. Just turn the place into an Airbnb instead.
Agreed.
Great.
I also pitched Bullshito as a title, and Spencer was like, you get Bullshito or you get Cobra versus Ninja.
You pick. You got to pick.
I had to pick. We got some, hey gang, we got some questions from our viewers. Even J. Pretzer asks, aside from knowing, what is half the battle for you to succeed? I guess what's the other half?
Right. Knowing is half the battle. I would say, sci-fi weapons. That's the other half of the battle. Having the best laser guns.
Definitely knowing ninja stuff seems like a pretty important part of the battle.
Actually bothering to take the time to learn the ninja stuff rather than just put yourself in the mental space to do ninja stuff. Important. An often overlooked part of the ninja training process.
Yeah, no, I would say proper vocal warm-ups before you do this for an hour.
Yeah, it's important.
One quarter Canadian asks, how long can he do that voice without his throat hurting? The answer was 30 seconds, and I'm just trooping along.
You could have just done the intro like that and then become Joe Starr. I don't think any of us would have
committing to the
you.
bit, Lon.
Okay.
I would never forgive myself. Let's see here. Evan also asks, if you could make any character totally silent and faceless in a film or show, who would it be? I mean, you could have done it with this guy, honestly. He could have not said a word.
Yeah, we really didn't need to hear all that much from him. It would have been fine.
Yeah, it would have been fine. See, now I'm actually excited for the character, but I would say during most of the Avengers, I could deal with like a Hawkeye that didn't talk or have a face.
No talk guy.
Yeah.
I gotta be okay with that.
Again, it feels like it wouldn't have even made that big of a difference.
No, of course, now I'm excited for the show, so I wouldn't want it now. But they're definitely like 3 days ago, I would have been like, yeah, just make that guy silent and faceless.
I would have liked a Hawkeye thing where he's faceless and he just like makes noises, but like Black Widow's the only one that can understand him, like a Han Chewie thing.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, where he's just like, what's that? Oh, we do have to stop and get some shawarma.
Hawkeye's right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind a Batman movie where he never talked when he was Batman. I feel like there's a lot of pressure on actors to nail the Bat voice. And that's always the moment where you're like, uh-oh. Like the first time a Batman actor is like, oh, Batman! And you're like, okay. Then we're going to do this for 2 hours.
It's also, it would be like more intimidating. Like he's supposed to be this like monster, you know, like the way they talk about him, like the Bat, he's like not even human. But then he's just like, well, hey, Commissioner. Like, wait, what? This is killing the mystique.
Yeah.
James Bunt asks, if back in the day, Michael Bay, oh, James, did you mean to write a poem? You did. If back in the day, Michael Bay had been given G.I. Joe to play, rather than the Transformers, would its fate have been different? I mean, Michael Bay films are basically an 8-year-old, like, cranking, like, slamming toys together. So, I dare, could he have done a good G.I. Joe? I mean, the jingoism is there.
My main hang up with the Transformers movies is that I don't like the way he makes the Transformers look, and like it doesn't feel like their faces are all weird and mushy and it's hard to follow who's talking, and like, so I feel like getting rid of that and letting him just focus on people fighting other people probably would have been a big improvement. And it's more evenly matched. Like that's the problem. You get to the end of the Transformers films and it's like, well, obviously the army of massive robots with high-tech weapons are going to beat like Tyrese with a gun. So like at the end of G.I. Joe Cobra movies would be more evenly matched. It's like this army versus that army.
Yeah, plus I just think it would be more fun. Like I think that it would be a lot more fun to watch him do like a G.I. Joe movie. Like, you know, I think maybe the quips would land. No racist robots, which is always a big plus for me.
Yeah.
So
just racist vipers.
Just racist vipers. But yeah, so I think that it would be like way more fun for him to do something like this. Plus, like you said, like it's so hard to see so much of the action in Transformers when it seems really easy to me that the answer is just giant robot fighting giant robot. But I like to believe it would be better with something like this. We still have to deal with all of his Michael Bay jokes though.
Yeah. I mean, I look at, you know, like all the Navy SEAL stuff in The Rock. That stuff's cool.
Yeah.
And I guess, you know, I could see him remember in the old G.I. Joe, the cartoon movie where like the opening credits is like Cobra attacking the Statue of Liberty for no reason.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Like these movies should just be that. It's like every movie Cobra Commander has another crazy plan to like blow up the Hoover Dam or turn the Statue of Liberty into a statue of him, and like the Joes have to stop him. Like that's all we want. It doesn't, they're overthinking it to like the 100th degree.
Hey guys, this is a fun one. Jeffrey Yelverton says, other than jujitsu, good taste, Jeffrey, what martial arts movies would you recommend? We did an SJU about this the other day, but I'm sure, man, it's a good question.
I'll say the 90s Hong Kong films that got me into martial arts and kung fu movies are still the ones that hold a special place in my heart. So stuff like Rumble in the Bronx or Iron Monkey or Super Cop, like that whole era when like Miramax started bringing those Hong Kong movies out into US theaters under different titles. So I love all that stuff. And obviously Jackie Chan's Police Story, the first two Police Story movies, which kind of kickstarted that whole trend, and I believe Super Cop is in fact one of the later Police Story sequels, if I'm not mistaken. Those are amazing. Those are classics.
If you want something recent, The Swordsman from 2020, that's pretty good. Dude that played the Hard Master, Joe no, he's not Joe. No, Joe Tolson's not the Hard Master.
Yeah, no, Joe Tolson was Sub-Zero, right?
Yeah, he was Sub-Zero. Thank you, and he's also in Warrior.
Right. Hard Master is Iko Uwais from The Raid, and we mentioned a few others with him as well. The Night Comes for Us, Headshot with him, which is friggin' amazing.
Danielle, any picks? I mean, obviously, who's the master?
Obviously, that's always going to be my pick because it's like it's fun and it's silly and it's really like an homage. And I think if you go into it with like thinking of it like that, where it's really like a love letter to the Black community's absolute adoration of like old martial arts films. If you go and there's music, so if you go into it like looking at it like that, that it is this like love letter to these movies, it's wonderful.
No, absolutely, very, very well said, both of you. Let's see here. Reynard City Update Channel asks, that's a interesting name. Was that your birth name? Question for Cobra Commander, which is better, the film Cobra or Commando? Oh, shit.
Wow. Tough call on that one, honestly.
Wow. It really is. Maybe for pure spectacle of action, Commando. But if you really just want swag and flavor, you can't beat Cobra.
No one in Commando takes a slice of pizza, uses a scissors to cut off just the tip, and then eats that part of the pizza slice. That's right. Never happened in any movie other than Cobra that I've ever seen.
Well, hey, crew, this has been a fun reunion. Any closing thoughts on I'm getting the light? Any from one of the Crimson Gods? Any closing thoughts on Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins?
I hope that this does not wreck, that this doesn't wind up being like a ding against Henry's career, because I do think that he's like a very promising young actor. And so I hope this isn't one of those things where it's like, well, it tanked because of him. It's like, no, it tanked for like a lot of reasons.
I hope these studios and these companies start getting this lesson that like the like making it look like a ninja world isn't enough, and the action has to match the setting or it's not going to play. Like, people aren't going to be so easily fooled. And we sort of seem to keep making this mistake where these movies kind of have the right setting, but then don't have the action scenes and aren't compelling. And it's like, well, that's never going to play.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Danielle, you make a great, and I not to get all serious, but I look fucking ridiculous. But like, Raul Coley was, that video went around, where he was making that point where it was like, if this movie flops, they're not going to be like, oh, it's a bad movie. They're going to be like, oh, because no one wanted to go see Raul Coley in a movie. And they said the same. Like, I hope that this doesn't like, you paired all these all-stars, Smash Mouth song level all-stars with kind of a dud of a director, and what can they do? Yeah. So hopefully this doesn't dull the stars of these people. At least all of these guys are fine internationally. The rest of the world seems to be perfectly okay to give these folks starring vehicles, even though they might be in a bad G.I. Joe movie in America. But hopefully Hollywood continues to go, oh, these are dope people, and that we should continue to lift up and work with.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure, you guys. Hey, next week, guess what's going to happen next week?
I mean, I know.
Another honest trailer. We're going to make another one of these things.
Can you believe it?
Can you believe it?
Wild.
Let's see here. What's a good clue? It's
gonna be a real trip.
Yeah. It has a spiritual sister starring Cuba Gooding Jr., I think. I don't know. Nope, it doesn't.
No.
Does it? Doesn't. No. Is Cuba in that? Is Cuba in who's in Boat Trip?
Who is in Boat Trip?
I thought that Cuba was in that.
Is he? Maybe he is. You might be right.
Cuba's in Boat Trip.
You're right. It is. It's him and Horatio Sands.
That's right. I couldn't remember which SNL guy was in it.
You're right. You're right.
It's
not 2002's Boat Trip. That's not next week's Honest Trailer, folks.
Oh, but what if it was? Then that would my victory complete. Oh! Hey, Danielle. Hey, Lon. Hey, Will, on the ones and twos. It was good to visit with you guys. Ryan, Mikołaj, what a great reunion. So nice to see all of you. Please join us next week when we talk about the Honest Trailer for 2002's Boat Trip. Goodbye, everyone.
This episode was brought to you by Hulu.